Today's guest has built a career around helping business owners and financial advisors stop chasing clients and start attracting them by doing one simple but powerful thing: writing a book. Michael DeLon is known as the credibility coach, and his story is one every advisor can relate to. After leaving a career in ministry, he found himself struggling to be seen as the expert he truly was until he wrote his first book on marketing. That single move transformed how prospects viewed him and opened the door to a new way of building trust. Now, through his company, Paperback Expert, Michael helps advisors, attorneys, and business owners turn their expertise into authority by creating published books to position them as the go-to professional in their field. In today's episode, we'll talk about what happens when you stop competing for attention and instead create credibility that speaks for itself via publishing a book. Let's welcome Michael. Hi, Michael. Welcome to the Advisor Summit. We're so excited to have you on.
Molly, thank you for having me. It's going to be a great conversation. I just can't wait to get into this and to share some fun things with your audience. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I mean, you have so much fun energy. I do feel like this is going to be a really easy one. Also, just free flowing conversation. I think advisors are going to get a lot of knowledge. Also, I mean, you have so much credibility in this industry, especially, pertaining to financial advisors, but really, I mean, the industry for paperback as a whole. And I'm excited because I feel like paperback is almost a bit of a lost art, if that's okay to say.
Yeah.
But it really is like such a pinnacle thing in the industry that people still want. So I'm excited to explore that, but let's kind of start from the beginning. You kind of talked about how you transformed your business through publishing a book, and I thought that was really powerful. So for a financial advisor listening, why might becoming a published author be one of the most strategic marketing moves they could make? I feel like, I mean, I track that advisor too. We always promote marketing. Marketing is so important in any capacity, but book writing can be really powerful. So kind of give us the background of why that might be a good move to make.
Yeah, absolutely. Because marketing happens in the mind of your audience. It's really about how people think about you. Okay, so let me tell my story real quick because I think it sets the stage for exactly why I tell people they need to be writing a book. So long story short, I was in Christian radio through the 90s. That's where I learned how to do marketing for small business owners. God led us from there to a ministry to marriages and families, sharing God's blueprints for marriage. And so I did that for a number of years. And then they went through corporate reorganizations and I found myself stuck in, I call it prison, a job I hated at a ministry I loved. And after 2 years of being stuck in prison, I finally prayed and talked to my wife. I said, God, I got to get out of this place. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go help business owners with marketing because they struggle with it and I love it. And God said, go. So on January 1st of 2013, I escaped from prison. I left. Woohoo! I left the ministry, started a marketing consulting firm, and I would come out, Molly, to you and talk about business and my strategies, and you'd say, Michael, this all sounds really good. Tell me, who else have you helped, and what else have you been doing? And I said, well, I've been helping build marriages and families at Family Life. And you'd say, Michael, that's honorable. Way to go. Oh, look at the time. I've got another meeting coming up. Can we reschedule this and talk again? And you'd usher me right out the door. Because Molly, in your mind, I was a ministry guy, not a marketing guy. And I couldn't get any clients. And so I knew I had to fix that. So I went to my church one day and I prayed and I asked God, I said, how do I help Molly? And he's like, take all of your ideas and put them in a book. And so I wrote my first book, Molly. It's called On Marketing back in 2013. Then I would call you. I'd set an appointment. I would mail a copy of my book to you. I'd walk into your office a week later for our meeting, and there it was. My book was on your desk, dog-eared, highlighted, underlined. You read my book. And in that meeting, you'd say, now, Michael, in your book, you said, how do you help me do that?
Yep.
And I started gaining clients. And after I gained 3 or 4 clients, I said, wait a minute, whoa, what's going on? Why don't business owners do this? And Molly, the only thing that changed between the first time I met with you, right, and the second time was the way you thought of me. When you got a copy of my book, I instantly became an expert in your mind on marketing, and you were waiting to take down my prescriptions to your pain. Everything happened by how I was able to influence how you thought of me so that we'd have a great conversation and you become a client. So the reason advisors need to really consider becoming a published author is because there is so much noise out there, and they all sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. They're all saying the same thing. Their websites look the same. But when you can put your book in somebody's hand and help them understand how to retire on purpose, this is my right. That changes the entire conversation. It changes how they think of you. Now they're engaged. And what's going to happen is you're going to build trust much faster, and you're going to gain more clients because of who they believe you are.
I think that's so powerful too. I mean, you went from 0 clients because they didn't think you had the credibility, wrote a book, mailed a book, and now all of a sudden you have this impactful credibility, which is funny to me because it's like you still had no clients. You still had 0 clients until your first one. But then it's that influence in their mind. What did their mind think? And I find that there's so much psychology in business, which maybe we should do a whole nother episode on that. But there's so much psychology behind business. And you taught them that you are credible influence and you are a credible source. And that is what the power of book writing can do. And I think I want to touch on you. So you talked about a lot of noise. And I think financial advisors often struggle to stand out in a crowded marketplace because there's that constant noise. They do. All the websites are great. And now we have so much technology and ChatGPT and just these amazing people that can build all these great websites. But from your experience, what makes a book such a unique credibility builder compared to other marketing channels? Because some books also could really align with that, where they could all maybe be the same. But granted, I will say most of the marketplace isn't going to read more than 1 or 2 financial advisor books, right? Like that is not a common book club book. So kind of talk us through how to kind of stand out within that atmosphere.
Yeah, no, that's great. It really starts with your story. Every advisor has a story. Why do you do what you do? What's different about you? My marketing philosophy, I've got lots of them, but my primary marketing philosophy, Molly, is people buy who you are more than what you do. Okay, we want to do business with people we know, like, and trust, people we believe in. So you have a story to tell. So one quick, I've got lots of examples I'm going to show you, okay, as we talk about clients who came to me. They had a story, and we helped them craft it. Brad Pistol's a financial advisor in the Missouri area, Ozarks, and he's written 2 books with us. His second book, after having great success with his first one, he's like, I'm ready to do another one. So he came back to me, and the philosophy is getting a second opinion and creating a retirement plan that is, as we came down to the title, bulletproof.
Love it.
So Bulletproof is the name of his book, The Safe and Secure Retirement Plan. But here's where it really gets good. Because, anybody could talk about bulletproof, right?
Sure.
What happened is we tell the story of Brad, that Brad, a number of years ago, found out he had a brain tumor. And he went to a doctor, and one doctor was like, there's not a whole lot we can do for you. He got a second opinion. The second opinion said, oh, no, we can do something. So when Brad wrote his book, Brad printed his book in color because he wanted pictures of him and his brain surgery and the value, the life-saving value of a second opinion. And so Brad wrote Bulletproof to hand out to people to say, you may have an advisor, but if you'd like to have a second opinion that might just change your life, let's have a conversation. Why don't you get a copy of my book? I'll give it to you for free. Read it, and then let's have that conversation. He has helped so many people, because what happens, Molly, when you lead with your story, it resonates with people and it connects you at a heart level. And they're like, oh, I like this person. They're like me. That's who I want to work with. So it moves people close. So that's how you really need to structure your book, is telling your story and being real, authentic, and transparent.
Yeah, I feel like people too can like sniff out when it's inauthentic, and they do relate. I mean, even not to make it personal, but my sister had a brain tumor, and so that like very much resonates with me, going through watching her surgery and watching her go through all of that. So it's like, gosh, like I would relate to
you would
somebody like
connect.
that. Yeah, we would connect
Absolutely.
and talk about that. And it wasn't me personally, but someone obviously very close to me. So I think that's great. And I think too, it's especially with the rise of, AI, I think people sense like genuine human connection is the currency in this world now. And it is such a neat thing to watch people lean on the humanness of each other and really know that makes a difference. And like, we are all human, and that's how God created us to be. We are created to be in relationship. And so if you can find someone that resonates with your book and really knows your story and understands your story, that's a really key factor. So
it is. And let's pause there. And I know we're kind of talking books, but let's talk marketing. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether you're using LinkedIn posts, Facebook, it doesn't matter. Share what's going on in life. Okay. Share that you have dogs and cats, or that you have kids and you're at the playground with your kids. Post things like that, because that causes people to say, oh, you really are a person. You have more to your life than financial advising. Shocking.
Yeah. Which is hard. It is hard. I even feel that on LinkedIn. I'm like, am I bugging people by posting pictures of me with my kids? Which is, I mean, they're cute kids. So like, you shouldn't be bothered. But I feel like that's freeing for me to hear. So hopefully for others too. Like, people do want to know you. They want to know who you are, or even they're just nosy and want to know what you're up to. And that's okay too. Like the post. Engagement is engagement. So I don't care.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really good.
No, that's helpful to know. Again, I think you hit it on the head. It has to be your story and it has to be personable. So I think too, for financial advisors, a lot of them, I mean, they're just such entrepreneurs and they are very confident in what they do because they are very good at it. So I feel like a lot of them probably have a little bit of apprehension when they go to write a book because they're like, gosh, I'm just not very good at it. I've never written a book. I don't know how to do it. So how does your process kind of remove those barriers and make book publishing realistic for busy professionals? Because I think that's the other thing, is they don't have a ton of time to dedicate to this, but it is important. I mean, we've kind of reviewed that, and it is really a cool feature for marketing in general. But how do you kind of remove that barrier?
So I'll give you my number one piece of counsel: never write a book.
Okay, great.
Now, from a
podcast.
That sounds blasphemous, right? And what I mean by that, and it comes out of my story of writing my first book, which was just hard work because I'm not a writer. What I mean by that is, you don't want to write a book, you want to speak your book, okay? Because as an advisor, you're a communicator. You're a thought leader to your audience. You can talk about your business all day long. That's how you need to be crafting your book. So our process is a speak to write process. Okay. So once we have your title bulletproof and we know what it's about, I match you with one of my 10 professional writers. And through about an hour a week on Zoom, we're asking you questions and you're just talking. You're speaking the content of your book to my professional writer who knows how to extract your genius. And then after about 8 or 10 calls, we have everything we need. And now we craft your manuscript using your words, your tone, your voice, your message. Obviously, the advisor's involved in all of it, improving it and making sure it's just them. But we are really fanatical about capturing the voice of that author, the tone, the message, so that when somebody reads your book, they're going to say, I heard you in the pages of the book. It sounds like you. That's what we're after. And our process is super simple. It takes less than 24 clock hours of our clients' time over 6 months of ours to get a book from zero to published at Amazon.
That's amazing. And you handle all of it from the start to finish,
Everything.
Getting it on Amazon, the beautiful images on the front page, everything. Okay, that's good to know too, I think, because sometimes it's like, do I have to go find now someone to do the image work? Do I have to go find someone to put it online? That's a lot. Okay, amazing.
And we go the next mile too. Not only do we do everything, I mean, the only thing we don't do is the content, and we extract that from you, okay? But we do everything else to get your book ready to publish it to Amazon, to Kindle, to PDF, hardcover, paperback. We also create audiobooks for our clients. We create podcasts that go along with the book. But more important than really all of that, those are all credibility platforms, right?
Sure.
More important than all of that is the marketing system that we create for every one of our clients. and author marketing systems and go, okay, great. You have this book now. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to get this in the hands of people so it gets you more appointments and more conversations and more clients and more referrals so that it actually pays for itself year after year after year after year after year? How do you do that? I've created marketing game plans for every one of my clients so that they can get an ROI on their book. And we actually back it up with a 2-year money back guarantee because I know it works.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's not just being a published author. It's being a published author who understands how to make that a profitable book by using your book in the marketing you're already doing. It's a game changer. So
Yeah.
not many publishing firms do everything that we do. And with ChatGPT, you can get a book created very quickly, but yeah, it's not going to sound like you and you're not going to know what
No.
to do with it. And
Nope.
so we really don't recommend ChatGPT.
Yeah. We'll
Because it's
touch on
not
that
you.
later for sure. Because I think
So
that's
anyway, I
it's
just wanted
so
to
big.
put that
It's
in
so
there that
big.
it's everything you're going to need to grow your business as an author using a very simple process that we've just dialed in over the last decade.
Dialed in. I think too, it's similar to those that are like used to the Trusted Advisor platform. There's a difference in knowing your data and understanding your data. There's a difference in writing a book and using your book.
100%.
There's such a difference there. And really to take that extra step and go, great, I've created this. You've used a lot of time and effort to make this. Now what do you do with it is huge. So to take them on that extra journey is really critical. So I know also with advisors, compliance is always on the top of their mind. We got to love the compliance, and shout out to all of our compliance people because I love you. I couldn't be you, but I appreciate you so much. How can advisors work within the industry regulations? Because obviously there's rules around that while still publishing a book that showcases their expertise and personality. Because I think that's huge. Is we do want to show like, hey, they do know what they're doing, but how do we keep it compliant? Like, what do you do in your business to ensure that?
Yeah.
How do we
Oh,
go through that?
we've dealt with compliance for a decade. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously. And
again, I love them, but
I look at compliance as guardrails on a bridge, right? They're
yep.
there to keep us safe. And so as we start down the road working with an advisor, we want them to let compliance know we're going to create a book. Is there anything we need to look out for? Because every compliance department is different. But compliance is really they get edgy when you start talking about returns or specific things. And that's not really the place for that in a book anyway. Right. And so
Right.
we make sure that you're not going down into the weeds on things. So our writers understand the broad aspect of most compliance issues. But what happens is we tell compliance we're writing a book, get any counsel from them at the beginning. We walk down the pathway, we get the manuscript done and approved by the client. And then that advisor sends it to the compliance department at that time frame.
Perfect.
So they walk through it, make any changes, and then we approve it and go to copy editing and proofreading and everything. But compliance is totally involved, and we need them. We want them involved, but we know we're going to stay at a high level because
Sure.
really the book is to get people from A to B to scheduling an appointment to nurturing them, right? Every situation is different. That's why you hold the details until you meet with someone. But we work with compliance all day, every day.
Time. So that's not a factor. And you talked about, so when you're meeting with a prospect, A to B, what is your recommendation as far as utilizing that book? Should they be sending it? I mean, it really is a silent salesperson. The book is really kind of their first go at, hey, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I believe in. This is what I do. And I mean, that obviously is so critical, but how should advisors strategically be using their book? Should it be before a client meeting or a prospect meeting, but during the prospect meeting? What is your recommendations on that, or kind of the data behind that?
That is a great question. So go back to Brad. I mean, I could pull a dozen different books. I mean, we could talk about Joe Schmidt.
I know you've worked some of our mutual clients, and I'm like, I recognize this book before. So.
Absolutely. So let's talk Joe Schmidt. He's in Columbus, Ohio. He's written 4 books with us. And so Joe's on TV. He's got a morning show type thing. He's on radio. He's got a podcast. He's got a website. He's got LinkedIn. He's got 12 marketing channels.
Okay.
And he uses his book in every one of them. Hey, get a free copy of my book. I hate taxes. If you hate taxes and you want to figure out how to mitigate those taxes in your retirement, why don't you get a free copy of my book, read it, and see if we need to have a conversation. He does it at the very beginning, because what Joe does, and this is one of the strategies we teach, is I want to filter out prospects who may not be good for me. and I want to attract and bond with those who are. So in Joe's world, if you hate taxes, you're going to read that book, and through that book, you're going to go, oh, Joe's my guy. I want to talk to Joe.
Yeah.
And then when they schedule that appointment, guess what? That is not a first appointment. Because of all the preconditioning and all the bonding, that actually feels like a second appointment. They're going to say, hey, Joe, in chapter 4, you talked about, just like you did, Molly, when I mailed you my book years ago. So we work with every client and say, that's a strategy. We always want your book on your website. Get a free copy of my book here. Click, get a PDF copy, goes to a thank you page. Thank you so much for downloading my book. It'll be in your inbox in a couple of minutes. If you would like to have a free physical copy mailed to you, just let us know where to put that. We put that in your hands as well. So during the process, they're tracking that lead to say, hey, if you opt into my ebook, what we have found is 50% of the people who opt into the ebook give us all of their information to get a physical copy of the book.
Interesting.
Now we teach our advisors to don't just grab a postal thing and send it your book.
Write a note, make it personal,
and send it in what we call a welcome and wow kit. Maybe you've heard shock and awe package.
I
just don't want to shock anybody. I want to welcome them. And so, a nice handwritten note. You sign the book, you put some candy in it and some other information about your firm. And then I have a 4-step follow-up process that somebody in your office does after you mail that to them. That you call them in a couple of days and say, hey, Molly, we mailed you that big blue box. Have you received it yet, or did the mailman lose it? Because we want to make sure it gets in your hands. Oh, no, I actually got it yesterday. Awesome. You're going to love the information. I'll call you back in a couple of days, give you some time to look through everything.
Yeah.
Then we call you back. So we're not pesky salespeople. We're building credibility, making sure you're getting the information, and we're walking them through a process. And with everything that you do with tracking data, we know when they get it, where they are in the process, when they schedule the call. And then I have an entire system on how to precondition through video from the time they set the appointment till the time they show up. That is a game changer that shrinks the sales cycle and increases the closing ratio as well.
Well, I feel like too, the stick rate would be extremely high also because they feel like they know you. So they're typically going to come in and at least meet you because they feel like they're standing up a friend at that point.
Yeah, because how frustrating is it for advisors to get an appointment and get all excited and realize 20 minutes into the call, this is not even a good prospect. That's a waste of time and money because your time is valuable. That's where preconditioning and letting people read this before they ever schedule an appointment with you is very valuable. Well, how much? That's going to cost a lot of money, Michael. No, it's not. The book's about $5 and mailing it is about $3 or $4.
Yeah. You spend way more on dinner seminars. You spend way more on radio. You spend way more on TV, people. So I can give you lots of stats on the cost per client, on a lot of different marketing funnels, and $8 is very cheap.
Oh, it's incredible for the return. And the person that read it who's not a good prospect today might be in 2 years or 3 years. And guess what, Molly, you know this. It is sacrilegious to throw a book away in our culture.
Oh my God. I have a whole stinking closet full of them. I don't know why. I'm never going to read them again.
I know, but you might if you got this and you're not ready today.
Yeah,
but true. 2 years from now, you're like, where's that book? Because I hate taxes.
Yeah.
So it's the long-term effect as well as that short-term thing. So don't always look for what I call the 3% of the market who are in the market today. Yeah, let's sell to them, but let's focus on the 57% who are in the market in the next 90 days to 3 years. That's where the wealth.
Yeah, and you want to be top of mind, and you want to be
100%.
someone that they remember, and someone that had something credible that they're gonna look back to. So
and let's pause there. Let's go back to a book. When you create a book, you have now a library of content that you can speak on social media, on TV, on your podcast, being a podcast guest, and you're always the author of. And you point people back to your website to get a free copy of your book. So now your messaging is not Charlie Brown's teacher. It's very specific about who you are and what you believe,
Yeah.
and you give somebody a great call to action to get a free copy of something that's very valuable. It solidifies the messaging that you're putting in front of your audience in such a powerful way, and you let your competitors be Charlie Brown's teacher.
Right. And like you said, you're backing it up with more modes than just the book. You have the podcast, you have a website, you have, maybe they're telling their friends to go get this book that they just read because they feel like it was good knowledge. And there's a lot more to it than just writing a book.
I've got 18 different strategies we teach our clients.
Yeah.
Step-by-step guides of how to make money with your book.
It's perfect. Do you have like a handout or anything? Maybe we can link it in the show notes that we could give to people, and just if they're interested in starting or just want some more information, we'll link something in the show notes so that people can reach out to you for sure. Yep. I feel like we've talked a lot about the positives of advisors utilizing these books and all the good stories. What are some mistakes that potentially advisors make when trying to market books themselves, or how does credibility marketing help avoid those pitfalls?
Yeah, it's funny you asked. Caleb, my son, he's my chief operating officer. He and I just created this document, the bad book marketing plan. And
I love it.
7 things to do if you want to make no money with your book. And so here's what happens. They don't put it on their website. They don't put it on the front page of their website, which is I highly recommend that, or have a dedicated landing page for it. Okay. They don't do that. They don't really tell anybody about their book. They don't hand it out to prospects or clients. They have a book, but it's like, oh, that was fun. Next shiny object.
Yep.
Honestly, this is what they do. They don't give it to happy clients to say, hey, Molly, thank you for allowing us to serve you. Would you do me a favor? And you're going to say, yes. Would you be willing to just take 3 or 4 copies of our book? And as you're talking with your friends over the next couple of 3 weeks about how we've created this retirement plan for you, would you just hand them a copy of my book and say, well, here's who we trust. They were amazing. Would you do that for me, Molly?
Yeah, I'm already serving them. They're going to say yes.
Brad Pistol, he's done that for about 8 years now. And here's his phrase. Somebody says, Brad, can I get another copy of your book or so to hand out to somebody? Brad's answer, absolutely. Would you like 5 or 10 copies? And he is dead serious. He's made so much money on referrals like that, but not understanding the simplicity of just doing something.
Okay.
And many advisors yes, they're great entrepreneurs. They're type A's. They're chasing every little thing that comes along. And they hear a webinar by somebody else and they go, oh, I want to go do that. And they forget that you just invested in a marketing machine that you haven't put any fuel in. So
I love that analogy.
Those are the biggest mistakes. If you do virtually anything with your book, it's going to pay for itself. But many advisors, they just keep going to the next thing, and it's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, the shiny object is the fun thing, and the shiny object is what you think is going to make the most money. And we always say you have to have 3 kind of solid marketing. It's like a stool. You have to have 3 solid marketing platforms, and then go find your shiny object. And I see, especially paperback and just books in general, it's such a tool to be an addition to your marketing. You can utilize it while you're on TV as a free promo. You can utilize it while you're on radio, directing them to your website for a free gift. You can utilize it at dinner seminars, giving it away. I mean, I just feel like it's this really unique and tool that can be used in so many different aspects. And it's not a standalone marketing.
It's not standalone marketing. And it's also, it doesn't come across as I'm trying to sell you a product or a program or something. It's like, think about having your book done. This is one of our strategies we teach. And why don't you do a short video on every chapter, just talking about that chapter. And now you take that one video, or let's say you had 12 chapters. You've got 12 videos now. You put them all on your website, all on your YouTube channel, all on Facebook, all on LinkedIn, all on TikTok, because you're educating people. And at the end of every one of those videos, hey, just get a free copy of my book at my website. Oh, driving people to your website to get into your funnel so you can nurture them, so you can have a conversation with them. The book becomes the cornerstone of all of your marketing, and it makes your marketing more consistent, more credible, and and over time, people start understanding, oh, you're that person who, yes.
Yeah, who wrote that book. And you're like,
And
yes, I actually am that person who wrote that book
I
in
actually
that
am.
place for sure. So I feel like too, I mean, it is such a credibility builder. And so if an advisor is listening and they're maybe still skeptical, which I'm like, there's so much knowledge and wisdom out there, just write the dang book. But if they are skeptical, what's kind of the mindset shift that they maybe need to make in order to kind of get over that skepticism? Or what's kind of the first steps they need to take in order to write that book?
Call their buddy who wrote the
Yeah.
book 2 years ago, right? And say, did it do any difference, right? Honestly, I mean, if you're at this point in the game in our culture and you're skeptical about whether it's going to work or not, you're probably
Yeah.
listening to the wrong people. You're listening to people who are talking about publishing a book, and you don't understand the long tail of what am I going to do with that book. So you need to stop thinking I'm a author or I'm going to get a book. No, you're buying, and you need to invest in a business growth system that begins with your message put into a best-selling book that gives you the opportunity to expand your influence and grow your business. It's a mindset shift. I mean, I bought this thing at a conference the other day. It's made out of a 3D printer thingamajigger, right? And I don't even know what it is, but it's a fun toy. If I told you that I could help you grow your business by 30% a year by buying this, you'd buy it.
You'd buy it.
So why won't
No
you invest
questions asked.
in a book that's going to
Yeah.
last the rest of your career that will produce a lot more than that? So it's a mindset shift. It's not a gadget or a gizmo. It's a positioning piece to bolster your credibility and bring in more clients so you can impact their lives.
Yeah.
That's how you need to be thinking
And
about
help those people. Yeah. I love that. And I think too, so kind of on the opposite end, obviously there are those that are skeptic that want to do it. And then there are those that are like, oh, I can go write a book on ChatGPT. I'm sure in the book writing world, when ChatGPT kind of started to make its launch, it was a very hot topic. So kind of walk us through why that's not the best idea, and why it is important to either use an expert or, write it yourself or find someone that you can utilize in that sense.
Yeah, great question. So a couple things right off the bat. If you're going straight to ChatGPT, that content's all over the internet. It's not copyright protected. Okay. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, it's pulling all the same information for the advisor down the road who's writing a book using ChatGPT. And so you're both going to sound the same. Not a good thing. You sound the same right now. That's why you're Charlie Brown's teacher. The purpose of a book is to position you and tell your story and bond with your audience. It's that human aspect that you were talking about earlier.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if you're not a writer, good. Hire somebody who is. Never write your book. Don't sit down in front of your computer in a blank Word document going, I'm going to write my book. That's the stupidest thing you can do. Seriously.
I love that. I love that because it's so freeing, because I feel like everyone's just like, yeah, I could do it. And it's like, no, you actually can't. Like, you're not, I always equate this to like, you're not going to be your own doctor. You're not going to be your own plumber. You're not going to be your own electrician, and you're not going to be your own anything. So like, why wouldn't you hire an expert to do it? I think it's insane to me.
It is. And what do financial advisors tell prospects who say, hey, thank you very much. I think I'm just going to do it myself.
No, don't.
So there's so many negatives. Caleb, my son, has read multiple attempts at ChatGPT books that other people have written. And he's like, I can't get past 3 pages. It's just that bad. And it is. Maybe in the future it'll get better. I don't know. But there's nothing that's going to capture your tone, your voice, like a human is. And if you got 24 hours, we'll get your book done.
24 hours is not a big commitment.
You leverage your time. I work with busy entrepreneurs every day. We get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so true. It's what is your time? And honestly, it's going to take you more than 24 hours if you're trying to utilize ChatGPT. So, and then you get a way lesser product.
Okay. Let's stop there. The other aspect, everybody has these visions of grandeur. I'm going to use ChatGPT. Great. You get a manuscript. Now you have to get somebody to edit it, to proofread it, to format it, to get the ISBN number, to get a cover design, to get it through the Amazon maze, and then to get it published finally.
9 steps.
Not to mention the other 30 steps that I don't even know about. So it's not just using ChatGPT to create some content. I got a client last month. He's written 2 little tiny books using ChatGPT. And he's like, they're okay for the lead magnet type things.
Sure.
He's like, but I was going towards my real book, and I realized that's not going to work. So I reached
No.
out to you, Michael, and now we're creating his book, and it's amazing because
Yeah.
we were able to weave his process, his thought, his DNA into his title and his book outline in a way that he never was able to do. And he told us that. He's like, I would never come up with that.
So different. So different. That's why you're an expert. I mean, everybody's an expert in what they do,
That's what
and
we
it's
do.
needed. Yeah. And day in and day out, you've spent the time, you spent the hours to become the professional.
Oh
So
yeah.
I feel like there's reliance on that. So, and I do think ChatGPT can be a good tool. Like you said, like for the smaller lead magnet things, sure, go for it.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to actually do the full-fledged book, it's not often going to come out that way. So
That's right. It'll
I
do you
feel
more
like,
harm than
and then
good.
compliance.
Full book.
You also have to go through compliance.
Compliance.
So
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to get a lot of hits on compliance on this one. They're going to be so thrilled that we mentioned them. Shout out to compliance for sure.
They're there. They're doing their job. They're keeping us safe.
100%. They get a bad rap, and I'm like, you guys are keeping us safe. So I
That's
love
right.
it. But anyway, I feel like our final question today, we always end the Advisor Summit podcast with this one. It's where you're trekking today. Where are you trekking personally or professionally? What's your big goal for the year, or whether it's personal or professional? What's your big thing happening this year?
Yeah, my big thing happening is it's on order. It's being made right now. I
Oh,
finally, and so long story short, when I was 16 years old, I was taking flying lessons. So I soloed in a Piper Warrior airplane, single engine, on my 16th birthday.
oh my
And
gosh. Okay.
I've always loved flying. I never got my pilot's license because I gave it up after that, but I've always loved flying. And so on my birthday this year, I turned 59, and I said, I'm going to do it. And so I bought a powered paramotor. So think about this little gizmo with a big engine on your back and a parachute over the top of you.
Yes. My husband and I were actually just looking at these because we were considering trying it for hunting to try to get into like very remote areas. And so we were just looking these up. That's so funny. And you
So
ordered one.
we can talk offline, but mine's on order, being manufactured, and in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to go and get trained on it and start flying
Oh,
my
amazing.
paramotor.
Oh, that's amazing, Michael. I'm excited for you. It's also amazing to me that nobody needs a license to do them. I'm glad you're getting training because you don't need a license. And I thought that was insanity. I'm like, you need some type of training. So
You do.
kudos to
I'm
you
going up for a week of
getting.
training from a guy from the
Yes.
nation's #1 trainer, and he's been doing it for decades. Super safe, and I can't wait to do it.
I love it. Okay, well, definitely post pictures on LinkedIn because, like we talked about, people want to see your real life and we want to get to know you more. So, if anyone's looking to do a book, what's the best way to contact you? Is it via LinkedIn, via your website? What's the best avenue to go?
Yeah, paperbackexpert.com. That's our website. That is the center and hub of all things Michael. You can reach me anywhere from there. But there's also a lot of information, free trainings, all kinds of things there to help you understand who we are, how we operate. So paperbackexpert.com.
Perfect. We'll lead everybody there. So thank you so much for joining, Michael. This has been a great conversation. I learned a lot personally. So I'm like, we need to go put our book on the website front page. So that is one thing I can take away today. And for any advisor listening, just take the jump. I think it's a big thing to do a book, but it is really helpful. I think you showed us that today. So thank you.
Molly, it's been so much fun. Thanks for allowing me to share our passion, our expertise, and we're there to serve anybody and have great conversations. Thank you.